Do you have any advice for players? Because this is daunting.
It is, yeah, it is.
These are
it
high
is
stakes.
daunting.
Not daunting to play, but like daunting in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, right? The weight of the worlds are literally on your shoulders. Exactly. So there's a lot of advice for DMs in the book because, of course, DMs are the ones reading the book. But for players, I think really playing characters who have very much internalized, at least after the first chapter or two, once it's clear to the characters what exactly is going on, really wanting to internalize that sense of needing to save the world. If you're very much invested in playing a character who knows that fate has chosen them to oppose Vecna, that the weight of the worlds is on their shoulders, and that they are the only ones who can save existence, really leaning into that as a player and having that gravitas of that, the sense of stakes, I think would be good advice for players, right? Because if you wanted to play a happy-go-lucky character, you absolutely can. You can absolutely do that. Comic relief, is always really fun as players. But also being able to have those characters understand what the stakes are and that they can't just mess around and that, time is of the essence and that these, extremely iconic and powerful wizards are counting on them.
I mean, that's a very good point. Like, if I am playing a very kind of jokey, trickstery character, which I often do, when you're faced with something this threatening to the D&D, multiverse, that might give my character pause. And that might be like the canary in the coal mine, like, oh, this is how serious it is.
Yes, exactly.
And I love moments like that in television and film and any type of narrative. Like, this character is normally, unaffected by the events of the adventure and always kind of themselves. But like this moment, if they are changing their attitude or their perspective, like, this is how dangerous it is.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's fun character development to potentially explore, knowing as the player that the events of the adventure are going to be very important. If you start out playing that character that's that jokey, happy-go-lucky, silly, never take anything serious character, and having them grow into that role of multiverse saving hero, that's a really fun arc to play through, and having an entire party sort of come to that realization and come into their own and then literally hit 20th level and become some of the most powerful heroes in all of existence. Like, that's a really fun arc to play through.
Plus, great on the resume. Like, we defeat Vecna. We saved...
Yeah.
But where do you go after that? Like, it's your 20th level and they're like, well, we did save the universe.
I mean, you probably get lots of sponsorships for lots of different,
lots of sponsorships in Eberron.
You can have the top suite in a tower in Sharn and Eberron for that, right? Like, all the kings of all of the realms and the queens will probably welcome you. That would be very fun, like a post-campaign, what are they doing now?
I also like the idea of, like, forming a D&D campaign of, like, a group for something like this where you are each from several of these worlds, depending on how many people are in your party. So, like, each character might be very invested in, like, how Kryn is doing or Eberron is doing.
Yeah.
Like, this is my home turf. This is the world I need to save.
Yeah, for sure. And, because the book does go to so many different campaign settings and does involve so many different locations, I was very aware that there would be people who want to play characters from some of these different locations, that there would be people who are big fans of specific locations, and giving them advice was very important to me. And so there's advice for the DM about how to structure a cohesive group out of characters who are from these different areas, and how to narratively work through how did a player from Kryn end up being in Neverwinter for the events of the first chapter to happen, for them to eventually get tied to the Cult of Vecna and to Vecna himself. And so there's a lot of information in there that really opens up those options to players to be able to be heroes from, a wide array of multiversal locations who just happen to be in Neverwinter and just happen to get hired by Lord Neverember for what is, a difficult mission, because they are level 10 and Lord Neverember really needs something figured out, really needs, has a mission that is of great importance, but, that ultimately they are heroes who can be from anywhere, who can answer that call.